how you have been rating the past seminars. In the very first one, there were 94 who responded, and 85% said the seminar was excellent, and 14.9% said it was very good. Thank you so much for that. The second one, this is on the classroom management, the biggest group we've had with 172 responding. 82.6% said it was excellent, and 17.4 very good. In the third seminar, 88% plus 10.9%. Okay, so 100% for the two, evaluating it therefore as excellent or very good. In the third one, 98.9% said it was excellent or very good. May isa lang because there were 92 responses. One said, good lang. Okay. Which one was that? I think that was the building character. And then the last one, the last session we've had, there were two who said it was good. The rest rated it as excellent or very good. So as far as, yeah, well, the first two you rated as very high, excellent or very good. The first one being the highest with 85%, rating it excellent. Okay, so very good. That's what you said. And I was asking earlier if you can share with us in the chat box any particular learning. We can go back to that later on, give some time for some people to process and think about the lesson or the learning that you would consider as important. I mentioned earlier, for me, it's this, that we teachers affect eternity. No one can tell where our influence stops. In fact, if you remember, I even mentioned in one of the presentations, students tend to imitate us, okay? Including our wrong grammar. That's why parang we can practically say, uy, hindi tayo pwedeng mediocre. Because if we are mediocre, that's what they're going to pick up. That's what they're going to copy, mediocrity. What we have to present to them is high level of excellence, high standards of goodness, of kindness, of respect, of responsibility, more than simply covering the curriculum. I would in fact even say that's another very important learning that I have passed on in the past 4 seminars. The teachers are not just here to cover the curriculum. We effectively are forming character, molding minds, no? Especially through the example of our life. A teacher is never an ordinary person. Construction and destruction can be produced in his life. Chanakya said, or Chanakya. So that's the purpose of this series for the new teachers. New teachers, be the best teachers you can possibly be. Don't give in to mediocrity. Aspire for greatness. Go beyond merely average. Being like some teachers we've had in the past, so. I mean, it's an expression that means nothing special. That teacher that I had in, nothing special. Just like one of those teachers I don't even remember distinctly anymore. No, students are counting on us, and that's why it's important that we exert the effort, especially because we are here preparing the young people for their future. We are not just preparing students to pass a quiz or to pass a test or to pass a subject. We are preparing students for their future. That's why we kept on repeating it. We are engaged in the business of enhancing lives. And how the students are going to be in the future as leaders, as politicians, as businessmen, as uh, adult citizens of this country. How they are going to be in the future will therefore determine how the Philippines is going to be in the future. That's why the young people, sabi ng Japanese proverb, the real king of the world are the young generation. They're the ones who eventually are going to rule it over us, quote unquote, who are going to determine the kind of society, environment, world we will have. Today's youth will become the leaders of tomorrow. Okay? So, message of this series for new teachers, please be good teachers. Please prepare these young people to be the good leaders we want them to be. Kung ngayon, ang dami mong reklamo tungkol sa maraming politiko, sa maraming leaders in the country, kung marami kang reklamo tungkol sa mga namamahala ngayon, not just in the country, but even in corporations, companies, like these companies owned by billionaires. Ang yaman-yaman na, bakit hindi nila babaan ng presyo, uh, minimize naman nila yung profit nila kasi anyway, bilyonaryo na sila. Yung ganun, ano? Parang minsan iisipin natin, wala bang konsyensya itong mga bilyonaryo na sobrang-sobrang yaman na nga, pero ang mahal pa rin ng um, renta nila para sa atin, ang mahal pa rin ng bayad sa tubig, ilaw, kuryente, smart globe, dito TNT. Tingnan mo yung mga may-ari nun, bilyonaryo. So, um, I'm not just talking about the leaders of the country. I'm talking about leaders of companies, of corporations, and prepare these young people now to be responsible and upright, moral people so that when someday they take over the companies, they start building their empires, making money from their businesses. They will be responsible business owners. Yan. Of course, even more so if they end up to be congressmen, senators, and president of the Philippines. We need good people there. We need leaders who have conscience, leaders who will do the right thing all the time because you prepare them now. And in one of the past sessions, sabi natin, ay kailangan natin ng change of mindset. Ha? Hindi lang tayo nandito para magturo ng math, science, English, Filipino, social studies, subjects. Nandito tayo dahil meron tayong inaalaga ang mga bata. We are entrusted with human beings to take care of young people who are going to be someday very important, very influential, very powerful, maybe even very rich. That's the mindset we have. I am here preparing young people who are our future. And that's a change of mindset. We are not just fulfilling unemployment. We do not just have a job, we have a mission. A change of mindset that will enable us, therefore, to continue looking for new strategies, continue looking for better ways of doing things, continue being more effective as agents of character formation. If you are doing it only because binabayaran ka, trabaho lang yan. That's just a job. But if you are doing it not only for the pay, but also for service, it's a mission. And teaching is one of the greatest services you can ever give to society. One of the best, most powerful, most impactful services we can ever give. If you quit because your boss, your principal, your supervisor criticized you, it's a job. But if you keep on teaching out of love, it's a mission. And if you are not in that session, I'll repeat that very important idea. Teachers, pag kayo pinagalitan, kinorekt, nireprimand even by your supervisor, by your principal, be very grateful. Be very, very grateful. Kasi ibig sabihin, umaasa pa sila that you will be better, you can be better. Because if they don't correct you anymore, ibig sabihin, sinasabi nila, hindi bali na, patapusin na lang natin yung school year. Hindi natin i-renew ang contract niyan. We will fire that that teacher. Yeah, we will get rid of that teacher. So never mind. Enough. Wag mo nang no. For as long as they are correcting, reprimanding, checking, telling us how to do things better, that means umaasa pa rin sa atin. And if we keep on teaching, in spite of being corrected and being reprimanded even sometimes, that will make us better, then that's a mission. If you teach because it does not interfere with your other activities, that's only a job. But if you're committed to teaching, even if it means letting go of other activities, that's a mission. And I know many of you are like that in these first weeks of the school year. Some of you have given up your weekends so you can continue checking papers, so that you can finish that unit plan or that lesson plan, or so that you can submit the grades, or so that you can, kahit walang additional pay, yung trabaho mong ginagawa sa bahay, on Saturday and Sunday, or minsan hanggang 11 in the evening, you do it. That means you are beginning to have, or you already have, a sense of mission. And that's what I see in many committed teachers. Hindi lang kayo teacher, marami sa inyo, nagiging choreographer pa ng klase nyo para sa Christmas party, sa open house, para sa Foundation Day celebration. Hindi ka lang science teacher, biglang naging choreographer ka pa. Biglang naging cheerleader ka pa para sa class intrams nyo. Naging coach ka pa sa basketball intrams nyo. Naging ano yan, yung coach para sa Sabayang Bigkasan nitong Agosto in celebration of so that's how many of you have been going beyond the minimum, not minimalists, because you see your work as a mission more than simply a job. And you're going to do it day after day, every single opportunity you have with the students, every single time that you are with them, because they're looking at you closely at how you react to situations. And they are like wet cement. Whatever falls on them makes an impression. You are leaving behind your mark on them. Students really don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. We heard this in one of the past presentations. Kaya hindi ako bilib dun sa mga teachers na nagyayabang na, valedictorian ako nung college. Salutatorian. Summa cum laude graduate ako. Matalino ako. I'm an expert in the subject matter. Okay, but Really, students don't care about those. They first want to know, do you care about us? Do you really want us to learn? Are you capable of bringing the lesson down to our level who are weak, poor, slower than you? They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Teaching kids to count is fine, but teaching them what counts, that is best, Bob Talbert said. And then this next quotation, I'm sure you have come across this. The mediocre teacher tells, the good teacher explains, the superior teacher demonstrates. But this seminar, since last week, dear, especially young teachers, first year teachers, this series has been nothing else but an invitation to all of you. Be a great teacher. Not a mediocre one, not even just a good one, not even just a superior, a really great one, who will inspire this new generation of young people who will eventually be the future leaders of our country. Here is a very important idea for all of you. Pamana ang pinag-uusapan eh. Alam nyo kung ano yung pinakamagandang pamana, legacy that you can leave behind your students? The strong conviction that I have to be a good person. That is the greatest legacy parents and teachers can leave behind people. A strong conviction that I have to be a good person. Yung mga estudyante nyo, dapat sasabihin nila, nako, kailangan akong magpakabait, kailangan akong gumawa ng mabuti. Yun ang pinilit sa aming ituro ni ma'am, ni sir, ng tatay ko, ng nanay ko. That's the greatest, best, most important legacy we can leave behind. A whole generation of young people thinking we have to be good. That's what our teachers taught us. That's what the school taught us. And you see how one is our mindset becomes different now. I am not just preparing for a quiz, for a test. I'm preparing these young people for life. And I'm going to be able to teach them character through the powerful example of my life. And if you have been with us in the last 4 days, I don't know how many times we heard it over and over and over again. Role modeling. We have to be the role models. Students should look up to us. Students should copy our professionalism, our punctuality, our respect, our kindness. They're going to learn all those virtues and values. Hindi dahil nilecturean natin sila tungkol doon. Hindi dahil sinarmonan natin sila tungkol doon. But simply because of the powerful example of our life. That's why teaching is more than just a job. It's a mission. And we have some sisters with us in the session. They perfectly understand what vocation means from the Latin word voco, vocare, to call. It's a calling. Not everyone is cut out to be teachers. Not everyone can be teachers or has a calling to be a teacher. If you are right now, and especially for those who have been in the profession for a long time, that means clearly you have a mission, you have a vocation to teach. Of course, when you say calling, sinong tumatawag? Lahat sila tumatawag. Society is calling us. Pilipinas, humihingi ng tulong. I mean, if we can think of the Philippines with so many people suffering in poverty, with corruption always appearing in the news, primetime news every day, with people in power not using their authority for the sake of the poorest of the poor, if Philippines can speak as a human being, for example, it's like saying now, please, tulungan nyo naman ang Pilipinas. Give us better leaders in the future. Prepare these young people. And many of these children come inside our classroom asking for that. Children come inside our classroom telling you, please help me have a good future. They're really not telling you, ma'am, please teach me subject verb agreement and multiplication and addition and subtraction. Because many of these things they can learn from the internet. Many of these things they can even learn from the textbooks themselves. Kasi ang gaganda na ng napakaraming mga textbooks ngayon, ang ganda na ng pagkakagawa, no? But the textbook cannot teach them being good, doing good, having integrity, having patriotism, love for God, love for their family, love for their children. So, who's calling us? Society, children, the parents the same. Humihingi sila ng tulong kasi marami sa kanila working, busy, 'di ba? Ganun yung mga magulang ngayon. Most of the time ganun na, no? Mom and dad working to give their family a good life. They're very busy with work. That's why they enroll their school thinking, itong eskwelahan na to will not just teach my kid, my son, my daughter subjects. Ito magandang eskwelahan to kasi ina-emphasize nila ang character. Kasi mga teachers, magandang example, magandang role models. Of course, when you say vocation, it's like God Himself has from eternity thought of us as in this specific time in the Philippines, in this specific society, I have these chosen ones, the teachers, who will form the young people to be good, to be ready for heaven. Really, effectively, it's like God Himself who has chosen us for this role of being educators, being the teachers. Minsan, ang tawag sa atin, being the second parents of these young people. Such is the nobility of our teaching profession, okay? And if you have not imbibed that idea yet, given the first 4 sessions we've had, it's worthwhile reflecting on it very often, very frequently, very regularly. The nobility of my profession as a teacher. Because education is not just the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. We are effectively providing light to the world that is in darkness because of ignorance, distortion of truth that is happening in the world today, revision of history that people attempt to do, muddling of right from wrong. Diba? Because right now, there are people who are pushing legalization of abortion, yan. In the name of the right of the woman over her body. Pero teka muna, paano yung buhay na kinitil, na pinatay? Shouldn't we also be thinking about that right, even if it is unborn? So, the world right now is, ang tawag ng researchers dito sa mundo natin ngayon, we are, sabi nila, living in the post-truth era. Post-truth era. Let that sink in. Why are the researchers calling this world now that we live in the post-truth era? Because now we live in a world where truth is distorted in social media, fabricated. People can fabricate truth now. Kaya sabi ko sa inyo in one session in the past, litong-lito na, for example, ang mga tao sa United States, they cannot even give a um, you know, a truthful definition of woman, of the difference between man and woman. Now they have to talk about a biological man, biological woman. Now we have to talk about um, alam nyo, sabi uh, ng experts, they now identify 147 genders. Hindi lang man or woman. Ang dami nang biglang lumabas na bagong genders. And there's even what they call fluid, gender fluid, na today pagising niya, feeling niya is he is a man. Tapos tomorrow, pagising niya, ang feeling niya is he is a woman. So, this is the kind of world that we're living in right now. We're not going to delve into morality, immorality, etc. What I'm just driving at is, abay, ibang klaseng mundo na tong kinalalakihan ng mga kabataan ngayon. Ano? Para bang truth seems to be under attack because of the kind of world that we live in. Of course, you have heard of wokeism. Ayan. Kaya si Ariel sa Little Mermaid, uy, biglang naging black woman. Tapos Disney is now making a movie, the live action of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Uy, hindi pwedeng dwarfs. So they came up with seven different kinds of persons because dwarf is not politically correct. Ay, tika muna. What happened to uh, the the truth of the story, the fairy tale that we grew up with, that we enjoyed when we were younger? We were not concerned about racism and colors, and we just want a story. So that is the kind of world that we're living in right now, and we teachers are in a position to light the candle and help the young people uh, find the light in the midst of this darkness that the world has been thrown into. And when you think that way, oo nga, kailangan ako ng mga estudyante for them to make sense of the world, of life, to answer the bigger questions in life, not just subjects, not just um, academics, but about the big questions in life. Then your work becomes a real service to humanity. We teachers are not just serving a school, we're serving the whole of humanity. Think about it. Let that sink in. Such is the nobility of the teaching profession. Otherwise, it's just a job, unemployment, a source of livelihood. I flashed this slide on screen last week and I emphasized it over and over repeatedly because this is truly what we teachers do. We enhance the lives of people, and inside our classroom, nandyan ang kinabukasan ng mundo. Not just of this kid, the future of the community, of society, of the country, of the world. 10 things new teachers should know. And 90% or so of you here are new teachers. Number one, the reason why we inserted in the second of this series of 5 sessions, classroom management, is because it's key. You will not resort to shouting, screaming, yelling. You will not get angry at the students. You will not be nagging the students about listening, sitting up straight, and um, classroom management is key. Make sure you have all those procedures and routines so that you're effective agent of character formation. You will never have to resort to shouting, screaming, yelling, and hurting students. Spend a lot of time working on that, perfecting, studying even more. By the way, this is the next series that Catalyst, this group, the organizer of this series, um, for these new teachers, we're running 5 sessions in January, um, all on classroom management, 100 plus concrete strategies you can use inside the classroom to manage the class so that it is a disciplined class and a caring classroom. Well, we have your email addresses, and so we will pass on to you the invitation for that. The campaign started only today in Facebook, but we will pass on the invitation to all of you by email to that series in January. 5 afternoons, similar to the time slot, 3 o'clock to 4:30, 5 days in January. Nothing but strategies on classroom management. More than 100 concrete. I mean, each strategy has a name, has a title, and we will cover 20 strategies per session. Here's another thing you young teachers need to know. If you're going to be a great teacher, a catalyst, igniting transformation in the students, make sure you are building a classroom community, a family, a big family with 30, 40, or even 50 students, where people will support each other, help each other, celebrate each other's success, which, by the way, unfortunately, is something that you don't see sometimes in a competitive school, in a competitive classroom, where the valedictorian is not even friends with the salutatorian. I mean, the one running for valedictorian does not get along well with the salutatorian kasi at the back of their mind, they're already competing. Or where you have students who even resort to cheating to maintain the first honor status standing. No, if you're a good teacher, you want to build a classroom community. You're going to create a kind and caring, supportive classroom where students will treat each other with a lot of respect and with a lot of sense of responsibility. There is more to math than measurements. The only meaning of this is there is more to life than the subject matter that you're teaching. You are not just teaching a subject, you are preparing these young people for life. You're not just preparing them to pass a quiz or to pass a test. You're preparing them to pass the test of life. So there's more to math than the numbers, than the measurements. Flexibility is critical because, dear young teachers, believe me, there will be many surprises in your job, in your work as a teacher. Surprises kasi biglang may bagong requirement, may additional load, may biglang ipapasa sa inyo si ma'am, si sir, the principal, na hindi naman yung nasa listahan ng mga ina-expect mong job description mo. Suddenly, bigla kang gagawing class advisor. Bago lang ako. Flexibility is critical. Expect a lot of surprises. And then just make sure you speak up. Okay, if you ask help, if you need help, rather, ask for it. Don't be afraid to ask for help. It is not a sign of weakness. Asking for help, asking for advice, asking for support, I mean, explicitly telling your principal, ma'am, okay, I will do this, but I need guidance, I need support, I am not ready for the pick up, um, because it's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you want to do it well, and so you're asking for support, for help, for advice. But be flexible, because such is life. Such is going to be your life as a teacher. There will be many unexpected things along the way, not to mention the with the cancellation of classes because of typhoons. Wala yan sa calendar, hindi yan pinaplano. And then pagbalik mo, uy, you need to catch up. You're behind by 2 class days. And the exams are already um, around the corner. Flexibility is critical. And unfortunately, there's no solid manual. Parang ano din, parang parenting. There's no such thing as manual for parenting, really. Many times you will have to learn things along the way on your own or with the help of peers, your supervisors. I mean, sometimes you will even see signs like this that are confusing. Ano ba to? Do not enter, pero entrance only. Sometimes you will encounter things like that in teaching. Sabi ni ma'am, sabi ng principal, hindi kami dapat nakakatakot, terror. Pero at the same time, sabi niya kailangan demanding kami, high standards. Now you start getting confused. How can I not be um, yung hindi natatakot yung mga estudyante sa akin, but at the same time, I have to be demanding daw. You see, sometimes even the ideas that you may have heard this past 4 days, 4 seminars, parang like what happened in our last session, no? When I was asking for inputs, sister, I think, wrote in the yung problem, yung high standards. Pero at the same time, teka muna, I'm also saying, no, we have to set high standards for our students. It's a sign of um, yung having positive expectations that your students will be successful. Therefore, it's very important, young teachers, please take care of yourself and do not be afraid to run to your principal, run to your supervisor, run to your coordinator, and better yet, ask for a mentor. Someone that the principal can say, okay, for any concern you have about teaching and how to be a great teacher, classroom management, addressing discipline problems in the classroom, Mrs. So and so will be your mentor. You can be your buddy will be so and so. If you don't have that, someone like that in your school, someone that you can consult easily, you run to anytime, ask for one. And you will be lucky if you can also find someone like that even outside your school. I mean, someone who can advise you uh, in a very objective way. So it's important to have a mentor. And then, sabi ko, take care of yourself. Summer break is there for you to recover your strength. You will be tired by the end of the school year. You have to recover your strength taking advantage of your summer break, or every weekend, take care of yourself, making sure that you really are able to recover your lost strength because of the tiring week. Nagkaroon pa ng intrams, nagkaroon pa ng competitions. Make sure you take advantage of the weekend to rest and to recover yourself so that when Monday comes, you're ready again for another week of battle. But yes, those are integral. Part of summer is here, therefore, I mentioned it in one of the past 4 talks. Sleep. Teachers, take care of your sleep. that you are able to get enough sleep. Do not be like the sleep deprived generation, kulang sa tulog, especially kung ang reason lang kung bakit ka nagpuyat is watching Netflix, finishing the K-drama episodes, or TikTok, or social media, which, well, part of the commitment we have as teachers is those are among the things that we either have to give up a bit or delay or set aside for now while we are building our reputation as teachers and our um, skills as a good educator, good classroom manager. Literacy affects everything. Real talk ha, kasi sabi ko naman last week, lahat naman tayo dito, adults, wala naman bata dito. Every so often, I receive emails from teachers na ang grammar is very, very painful. Parang gusto kong sabihin, ma'am, pwedeng Tagalogin nyo na lang yung gusto nyong itanong kasi yung English ninyo, talagang nakaka-nosebleed sa kamalian. Literacy affects everything. We have to work on improving our English. Kahit ang subject mo is Filipino, and then haharap ka sa mga magulang, tapos i-Englishin tayo, and then we will have to respond to them in English. They expect us to respond to them in English. Then, ay, their respect for us, or the lack of it, will be affected by how we are able to express ourselves clearly and correctly. So, literacy affects everything. Please work on improving our communication skills, our writing, our written and spoken language skills in writing and speaking, because we communicate with parents and then we communicate with the students. Sabi ko nga sa inyo, ang lakas ng impact natin sa mga bata, kinokopya nila pati ang ating wrong grammar or ang ating maling pagpronunciation. And I tell you, when they are among themselves, pinagtatawanan nila yung mistakes, yung errors. And with that pinagtatawanan comes, there goes the respect that we want to ask of them, that we want them to give to us. Literacy affects everything. Let's work on it because no one is hopeless. And there are so many materials available in the internet on how we can improve our English, our spoken language, our expression skills, our ability to express ourselves, clarity. There are so many materials available. And then, if now you're having a tough time with that class, very challenging kasi may 3, 4, 5 pasaway. Hang on. Next year, things will be better. You will be better in handling special cases, and magugulat ka na lang, ay, ang galing, ang babait ng mga estudyanteng to ngayon compared to last year. Actually, maybe not that mas mababait ang mga bata. You just know better how to control the class, discipline the class, manage the class. So things are good. Things just keep on getting better with the teachers because we also keep on getting better as we learn more and more better ways of doing things, more and more effective ways of handling the class. Hang on until next year. Okay? As a general rule, teachers teach more by what they are than by what they say. Okay, let me now give you 9 reasons to get into teaching and to stay in teaching. Here are, this is very similar to, I think, the 10 points I gave in the last session. But this one is para bang if I were to convince someone to get into teaching, and now I'm addressing teachers, if I'm going to convince you to stay in teaching, even if there will be challenges, even if there will be difficulties, even if there will be pasaway na mga estudyante or pasaway na mga magulang. I mean, sadly, you as teachers one day may encounter a so-called difficult parent. Yan. Kasi in my 33 years inside the classroom, I cannot help it. I've encountered parents na pag ang may isang estudyante ko dati, ang ang parents galit na galit pag ang anak nila yung grade bumaba sa 97, 90, 96, kailangan 100 or 99. Pag pumunta sa 97, 96, yung magulang lulusob sa eskwelahan. Hahanapin yung teacher at sasabihin sa teacher, "Ma'am, sir, can you explain how my son got this grade? He studies hard and aba, kailangan ko pang ipaliwanag." There are parents who are like that. Especially uh, after makinig sa'yo, sisisihin niya, di ba nga, I think I mentioned this in talk number 1, parents na ganong klase, pag bumaba ang grade ng anak nila, sisisihin ang eskwelahan, ang teacher, ang DepEd, ang curriculum, ang lahat sisisihin, except yung sarili nila, except yung beloved child nila. Even worse is pagka nagkaroon ka ng issue with the valedictorian and salutatorian. Ayan. And then the parents will come to school even threatening to talk to their lawyers. Bakit hindi nakuha ng medal ng anak nila yung medal? Ganyan, no? You're going to encounter parents who may be like that. But don't get me wrong, in the 99% of the time, I found parents to be very supportive, very helpful, and they can collaborate with you and they can be of very big help to the school. Especially in the schools I've taught in, aba, yung parents ang nag-fundraise para magkaroon ng turf yung football field. Aba, very nice. Yung parents ang sama-sama tulong-tulong to raise funds to build the chapel auditorium. Aba, ang ganda. Very nice. Yan. But by the way, that's not the role really of the parents. The role of the parents is to support the teachers in what they're doing to raise the young student to be a good person. So, yung tinuturo yung hard work, sincerity, not cheating, not cut and pasting, yun din dapat ang tinuturo ng mga magulang sa bahay. That's how they can more perfectly cooperate, collaborate with you. It's not about donating. But if they want to donate, go ahead. Very good. So now let's get into this 9 reasons to get into teaching and to stay in teaching. Number 1, because you, ma'am, sir, believe me, you're inspiring the next generation. Hindi mo marirealize to until years later when students come back to thank you. Yung alumni homecoming na nagbabalikan sila and they want to look for you. They ask around, andito pa ba si Ma'am Veliera? Andito pa ba si Ma'am Makahilig? Because they want to look for you. They want to shake your hand, look you straight in the eye, and be able to tell you, Ma'am, sir, thank you very much. I am who I am because of you. Ayan. Tapos ikaw naman, sasabihin mo, sino ka nga ba, iho? Hindi mo makilala, hindi mo mamukhaan kasi nakakalbo na o kaya nag-iba yung mukha, you cannot even remember their faces, but they have never forgotten you. They've never forgotten how you inspired them. And that's the only time you will realize, wow, it's been worthwhile. I have been making an impact in the lives of so many people. Unfortunately, you will have to wait for these to come. It doesn't happen overnight. You will not realize it overnight. Maybe you will never even realize it until when our Lord welcomes you to heaven and say, here's another teacher who has made the difference in the lives of so many people. But really, believe me, you do inspire the next generation, even just by being a good teacher that you are right now. But even more, if you do it deliberately. Yung bang bago ka pumasok ng classroom, bago ka lumabas ng faculty room para pumunta sa classroom to start a class, iniisip mo, I have to be inspiring. I have to be good. I have to be a great teacher. And then you walk to the classroom. And then in the middle of the class, when you are about to lose your temper, your patience, you control yourself because you think, no, no, I cannot be inspiring if I shout, scream, and yell. I cannot be inspiring if I make fun of a student and the whole class laughs kasi tinawag ko siyang, hoy tamad, hoy pandak, hoy, we never do. We will control our tongue even when we sometimes are just about to utter an angry word or worse, a profanity. Kasi ikapitong beses na nating tinawag yung attention ni John to stop talking, to keep quiet, to sit up straight, to look at the board, to control ourselves. We inspire them if we are going to do it really deliberately. It's a true vocation. Yung pinag-usapan natin kanilang, God is calling us, society is calling us, the parents are calling us, the students are calling us. It's a real vocation. Ang ibig sabihin lang nun, ang daming umaasa sa atin. Umaasa ang Pilipinas, umaasa ang Diyos, umaasa ang mga magulang, umaasa ang mga bata sa atin. If you really got into the teaching profession because of your love of the subject matter, then it's a passion for the subject. You are being a great advocate of whatever it is, whatever subject that you are teaching. Okay. Number 4. You know why teaching is a clear career path? Because it's not about becoming a principal. It's not becoming a supervisor. It's about becoming a master teacher, getting better and better. And I hope schools put this system in place that for a teacher, it's not about eventually becoming an officer. It's just about becoming better and better, more and more of a master teacher. So yung levels are like that. Master teacher 1, master teacher 2, master and expert. That's the clear career path for a real educator. It's not about aspiring to be a principal. In fact, what I've seen, very sadly, what I've seen sometimes is the school will promote a teacher kasi ang galing magturo eh. Very popular among the students, the parents like the teacher, and then ipopromote ng eskwelahan to be the subject coordinator. And then to be principal, hindi naman siya, um, wala siyang management skill. Ang skill niya is being an expert teacher. And so, magiging officer, and then biglang ang daming paperworks. Mamimiss niya yung being inside the classroom, impacting lives, making a difference, making the students excited about the subject matter. And then does a poor work of supervisor or sayang, malungkot. But I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen. Um, an officer who is doing a poor job when really he or she could be making great waves inside the classroom. That's the clear career path of a teacher, really. Now, let's face it, maybe in the Philippines, we are poorly paid. I mean, how I wish we are in the level of Switzerland or Finland or even the United States in the way they pay their teachers. But still, as teachers here in the Philippines, meron pa rin tayong salary benefits. Meron pa rin tayong summer break na walang trabaho pero may sweldo, no? May yung mga ganun. Tapos normally Saturday, Sunday, it's free for us, no? So, and it's work. And yes, we earn from it. And so still, it's good. It's a livelihood. We can survive. I mean, there are teachers who are able to raise a good family. Stay in teaching because I mentioned Finland, I mentioned the US, where they pay big salary for teachers, no? Um, and now, after the pandemic, we saw, even from the Philippines, you can teach students online, especially because here in the Philippines, our English is above um, practically any of the Asian countries. I mean, I just came back from Japan. I was in Bangkok a few weeks ago. I was in Kuala Lumpur early this month. And in all those places, they are struggling with English. They have a very difficulty with English. I spent 1 year in Sri Lanka, the same. And then I spent a few weeks in India, the same. Our English is superior to the English of many countries. That gives us an international, I mean, opportunities for international linkages and even employment opportunities, tutoring students in English from other countries, online or face to face. All these are possibilities because, well, if we are going to take care of our literacy, as I pointed out earlier, there is job security, um, especially if you're a good teacher, and then we get our permanency. Teaching, stay in teaching because your job is great for families. You are serving not just the student, effectively, you're serving the family and all the families of the students inside your classroom. And when you're a teacher, you become necessarily a lifelong learner because you will continuously learn, grow as a person, as a professional. And I'm very grateful, for example, that I ended up in a school like Southridge, a university like UIMP, where they value a lot professional development. And how I wish it's like that in all schools. But every now and then I hear about some schools na parang yung inset, uh, minsan, parang just for the sake of having. Parang yung seminars that are given are parang kulang. Manungkot, ano? And then, even worse is inset before the start of the school year. And then the rest of the school year, wala na. Wala nang professional development, wala nang faculty meeting where we share best practices. Yan. How I wish schools will really take very seriously professional development. And if you don't have that, there's the internet, there's chat GPT. Read all the so many books that are available to help us grow as a teacher, as a professional. That is being a lifelong learner. And you force yourself into it when you're a teacher because we're in the business of enhancing lives, we're in the knowledge business, the intellectual business, and therefore we cannot but continuously work on growing intellectually. All these are reasons why teaching is a noble profession and why it's worthwhile that you get into it and you stay in it. In fact, yung mga iba sa inyo, I think, because I saw earlier, there were some of you who have been teaching for 3 or more years. When I asked you on day one, well, you taught students and you continued teaching them during the online setup. Without you even realizing it, you taught students dedication, loyalty, commitment, professionalism, perseverance, resilience, grit, honor, toughness, and love. Without you even realizing it, natutunan ng mga kabataan because you continued on teaching even in the harshest of circumstance, pandemic, online na hindi naman hinanda sa atin. I mean, that was not our training. But the fact that you continued on in the teaching profession, you continued reaching out to them in whatever way you can through the modules, through the online synchronous or asynchronous sessions. Um, you taught them all this. Such is an ability of the teaching profession. And so we will be successful teachers if we love our students, and we will love them because they are entrusted to our care. You see, this is not the first time you're hearing it. You are not just given subjects to teach. We are entrusted with students to take care of, to mold the minds of, to form the character of. That's why it's good to look into how are we as a role model, as a catalyst, able to transform the lives of our students, looking into how do I warmly, sincerely, lovingly greet each student every day that I enter the classroom. Do I seek opportunities to connect with each of them, not just in the classroom, but even outside of the classroom? I know it will be added work load, but that's one of the points we raised in the previous sessions. For education to be effective, it must be personal. We're dealing with human beings, thinking, feeling human beings, not merely class numbers. And for that, do I prepare well for every single class? Do I come on time? Because that's the way to teach them professionalism, punctuality, concern that we don't make them wait. Do I model patience and courtesy even when I am under stress? Do I treat all my students impartially and fairly, impartially? And do I challenge all of them to do their best work? Well, that's what it is. It's more than just a job, an employment. It's all about doing our work out of love for our students who have been entrusted to our care. It's hard work, not just hard work. And so, if you have not heard it yet from people, well, thank you. Thank you so much for teaching and for choosing the profession. And for that, because we are celebrating next week, right? Teacher's Day, I have gifts for you. I want to give you these free books, 7 free books. This is part of the USB collection that I think most of you received the email of the USB with 17 of the best teacher movies, most inspiring movies you can ever watch, together with a 10-hour lecture of Dr. Harry Wong on how to be super effective, super successful teacher. And then nandun din yung once and for all, you can solve that discipline problem lecture of Dr. Harry Wong, among others. Anyway, so Here it is. Scan the QR code to get your 7 free books, or you can also just type https slash, tama ba? Yeah, bit.ly slash thank you gifts. Okay, you can click on that link, or you can cut and paste that, or you can screenshot it and then access the books later and download them, so that they can be helpful for you. Well, this is it. This is the last of the sessions. If you want to know more about the what I announced earlier, the 5 sessions on classroom management and discipline in January. We will post the details in this website, characterconferences.com. Many of you must have received also this invitation already, a free lecture with certificate of participation to an international seminar on October 20, on cultivating ethical integrity, educators' key role in a tech-driven world.